Hey guys, Dan the Dog Man here. I appreciate all the comments and feedback we got on the newest video, Beau going to the vet. I wanted to take the time to answer some of the top comments and questions that you guys had, so let's get into it. So I think the top comment, which is all my emotional people that, see Beau going through a stressful and uncomfortable situation, and, they empathize and want to feel bad for him, saying, he's scared or he's fearful. So I want to clarify, even when dog trainers and behaviorists use the term fear aggression, doesn't necessarily mean the dog is scared, right? Like one would think, I'm afraid of something. Dogs operate in a very primal way, and so for them, it's kind of survival mode. They're in fight, flight, or freeze. And so when we say fear aggression or fear-based aggression, the dog is in fight or flight. And so that's not the case here with Beau. You see him whale eyeing a lot, his eyes getting real big and his pupils dilating. That's stress, right? He's anxious, he's stressed. He doesn't like spatial pressure, people he doesn't know, like, or trust getting into his personal space. Even with his own owner, there's times where he's bitten her because she got into his space and he didn't like it. And so Beau is basically this is a habituated or conditioned response. It's learned aggression. Because Beau is every bit of 100+ pounds, he's learned that biting or using aggression will make people go away or stop what they're doing. And until he meets a stopping force or somebody that says, hey, this doesn't work with me, there's never going to be a change in that behavior. You can manage it, you can avoid it, you can ignore it all you want, but it's not going to get away, or it's not going to go away or get any better until he understands this behavior does not work, which was the whole point of that training session at the vet's office. And I think I even explained it to the vet during the process, right? So some of you, I think there was one person that mentioned flooding. Sure, you could call this flooding, but I see this more as an opportunity to not reinforce negative behavior, right? Every single time Beau attempted to bite or attack or lunge at the vet, he was stopped by me and Kevin using the leash. As soon as he went neutral, we went neutral. There was a lot of moments where I was giving him verbal corrections because I saw him loading up. I saw the behavior developing. And because I know what it leads to, I'm not going to allow it. The moment I see him acting up, hey, knock that shit off. And then if he escalates, I don't feel bad correcting him because I already warned him, right? When I told him to knock it off. And so, is it a lot of pressure on him? Sure. Is it uncomfortable? Sure. But he had an infection in his paw that he was dealing with for months that his owner couldn't get to, because anytime she tried to muzzle him, he would get crazy aggressive. And she's been bit by him before. And then the vets, they wouldn't do anything because he tried to eat the vet tech and he tried to eat the vet the last time he was there. So, was it life, limb, or eyesight? No. But the dog was living in discomfort. And so he's already uncomfortable, may as well make the most out of the situation and teach him to respect, the rules and the boundaries, and help him understand you can't do this anymore. Another question we got was he medicated? Did you try medication? So personally and professionally, I don't believe in medicating dogs for behavioral issues. That's where training plays a role, right? If it's neurological, if the dog has, an issue with their heart, a vital organ, something like that where medical intervention like medications works, absolutely. But if we're talking about a behavioral issue, something because behaviors are habituated, right? These are conditioned or learned responses that become habits. And so when A happens, dog does B, that equals C. You have to interrupt that pattern of behavior in order to counter condition and or desensitize the dog to the behavior. And so if you've exhausted all of those resources and the dog's still not improving, then you would question quality of life. And then sure, yeah, you could talk about medication versus behavioral euthanasia, depending on what you want to do, right? But people don't pay me to medicate their dogs. People pay me to train their dogs. They can pay for medication without my opinion or advice, right? So when people come to me, I don't train dogs that are medicated. They have to go through a process to detox from the medication, make sure it's out of their system. And then they come through training. We rectify the hormonal imbalance, add some structure, rules, boundaries, teach the dog some manners, right? And so that's training. That is effective training. And so I I don't advocate for medication. I don't believe that veterinarians should be giving training advice. I think they should refer to trainers. The same way I wouldn't give medical advice, right? Beyond basic first aid or husbandry that as a dog trainer and an animal handler, I should know and be prepared for. Now I kind of want to clear some things up and just talk about Beau's history, because I know I kind of just dropped that video without much context other than he's at the vet. So his owner contacted me about 6 weeks ago, and they were considering behavioral euthanasia. Beau has bitten 2 people 4 times, 3 times on his female owner, and then 1 time on a family friend. All of the situations were the same. They were all contextual, meaning he bit for the same reason. And that reason was spatial pressure, right? So the first time his owner got bit, he was on the couch and she baby talked him and knelt down to go give him a kiss or a hug, and he snapped and he bit her in the face. And second time she got bit, I believe it was kind of the same situation. He was laying down somewhere. She put pressure on him to go hug him or love on him, and he bit her on the top of the head. And then the family friend was watching Beau. Beau had a stuffed animal that he was tearing apart. And the guy went to go pick up the stuffing from the stuffed animal that was next to him, and Beau bit him in the hand. And that was the worst bite out of all the bites that he had. And so, you know, any dog can and will bite under the right circumstance. Just because they bite doesn't warrant a death sentence. Context matters, right? And so, were these bites unprovoked? No. Was it appropriate for him to bite? No. But this is a culmination of things, right? You have obviously genetics playing a factor. He's a German Shepherd, Great Pyrenees. Then you have lifestyle variables to consider. So up to this point, before he came to training with me, he was a princess. He was a spoiled, rotten, entitled brat. And so he was allowed on furniture. He was allowed off leash. He free roamed the house. Guardian instinct, or, you know, he's a livestock guardian breed and a herding breed. So you have some instincts, some genetic instincts in there where he kind of feels entitled. And then you have parents he doesn't respect because they baby him, baby talk him, and give him whatever he wants. He does little to nothing to earn it. And so this leads to dominance by default, right? Dog thinks he's in charge. Dog lays the rules down. Dog enforces the rules via biting, via aggression, via all these problematic behaviors. So I want to give everybody a trigger warning. I'm about to show you guys the pictures of the bites that I have. And so if you're squeamish, you don't like seeing you know, injuries, bites, things of that nature, now's your time to scroll, look away, fast forward. But yeah, if you're good, here we go. So this is the first bite from Beau. You can see he got her on the upper right eyebrow and the bottom lip. This is when Beau was sitting on a piece of furniture. I think he was relaxing or sleeping. His owner went to go give him a kiss or love on him, talking to him in a baby voice, and he bit her. This is the second bite on the top of the head. Same context. Beau was laying down somewhere. His owner baby talked to him to go give him affection, and Beau did not like that, so he bit her. And bite number 3 was to the family friend. The context of this situation is he was chewing on a stuffed animal, was ripping the stuffing out. The family friend went over to pick up the stuffing so that Beau didn't swallow it. Beau didn't like it, and he bit him. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to Cypress Creek Animal Hospital in Wimberley, Texas. That was my first experience working with them and going to their facility. Beautiful facility, very clean, wonderful staff. I can't give kudos enough to the doc that worked with us. She was great. You know, a lot of people were in the comments talking about she didn't follow instructions, or, you know, she was moving away when I told her not to. I mean, look, I do this for a living and I've experienced worse. I'm a combat veteran. You know, I have a combat deployment under my belt. And so working with aggressive dogs isn't really that scary. I also know how to keep my seat in stressful situations. Not everybody can do that, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm unfazed. It's still a pucker factor, you know. Working with these dogs raises cortisol, it's stressful, but you gotta lock in. And so I had a big ask from that doctor to not flinch, not react. And I think you know, she still did a pretty good job. Beau's a 100+ pound dog. He's lunging at her. I'm seeing the behavior developing. I think the very first one, I stuck my hand out to block it so she didn't get muzzle punched, because I just didn't trust, you know, the timing of it. If I applied the leash pressure, maybe too much slack in the leash, maybe I'm not quick enough, and then she gets a muzzle punch to the face. I didn't want Doc getting hurt, so I put my hand out there. And I mean, communication was key in that entire situation. You know, Kevin did such a good job of just having a fundamental understanding of what we were doing. You know, the kid's been working with me for 2 years now. I've been mentoring him. He's been a great apprentice. He's developed so much. Can't say enough good things. Super proud of him. He's on here on TikTok and on Instagram. You should give him a follow. He also posts content. But yeah, I mean, the whole situation was a high stakes, stressful situation. And I think everybody did a great job considering all the variables there. So big kudos. I wish this would happen more. If you're a veterinary clinic or vet tech or veterinarian in my area and you would like to set something up like this, let me know. I'm all about keeping people safe and educating. But, you know, unfortunately, also this was discussed in the comment section, is there's a lot of ideologies and philosophies that kind of get in the way of collaborations between dog trainers and veterinary clinics. And so if we can weed past that, I'm all for it. You know, I want to help dogs. I want to help people. So yeah, Beau goes home tomorrow. He finished his 6-week program. He'll be home for a week and then he comes back for boarding. So if y'all have more questions or want to see more Beau updates, just let me know in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the follows, the likes, the comments. Glad I could educate y'all, and I appreciate you being here.